Hey, all cinephile Mike, your friendly neighborhood cinephile is here, and it is episode 3 of Oscar Rewind 2024 edition, my bi weekly series of videos where I revisit films that reflect the work of this past year's Oscar winners and the nominees. My hope is that you will discover a new, older favorite or revisit something that maybe you haven't seen in a little while. I'll be discussing the awards history for the film, the critical response, the box office information, and as always, the reviews are spoiler free. So, today I'm chatting about 20th Century Fox's Mannequin, released in 1987 in February, Valentine's Day weekend. Film, co written by the film's director Michael Gottlieb and Edward Rugoff, was a decent box office success. Now, as per Box Office Mojo, out of the 200 films released domestically in 1987, Mannequin was ranked 21 out of 200 with a total box office take of $42,721,196 on a $7.9 million budget, which adjusted for inflation would have mean that the film made just over $119 million today. Now, there's no international box office information to report on. However, despite this box office success, review wise, the film, as per Rotten Tomatoes, has a 20% critical rating and a 55% audience rating. Personally, I feel the audience score is a little high. The critical rating kind of tracks for me, but let's get into it, shall we? Now, why this film is in Oscar Rewind? Well, this film marked the first of what is now 15 Oscar nominations and no wins for Master of the Movie Soundtrack, Diane Warren, a nomination she shared with the song's co writer, Albert Hammond. The song, Nothing's Gonna Stop Us, was nominated for Best Original Song at both the Oscars and the Golden Globes, as well as, and it's worth mentioning, Best Song Written specifically for a motion picture or television show at the Grammy Awards. Now, the song actually had one win for the ASCAP Film and Television Awards for Most Performed Song from Motion Pictures. The song, recorded by Starship, was also the first song Diane Warren had written to reach #1 on the US Billboard 100. Now, aside from the song, the film didn't have other major awards recognition, save some minor recognition at international film festivals, but nothing domestic on this side. So, Mannequin is primarily the story of artist Jonathan Switcher, played by Brat Pack member Andrew McCarthy. Jonathan has one main challenge: keeping a job, as his artistic integrity keeps him from doing the hired tasks of creating mannequins or making balloon animals, trimming hedges, or even making pizza because he wants everything to be so artistically perfect and his bosses just want him to move fast. This also frustrates his girlfriend Roxy, played by Carol Davis, because he seems aloof and eventually she dumps him. One night, while walking the streets, he sees one of the mannequins he created, a mannequin that he deemed the greatest work of art he had ever done, on display at Prince and Company department store. The next morning, waiting to get in, he saves the life of the store's owner, Claire Timken, played by our wonderful Golden Estelle Getty, and she gives him a job as a stock boy, although his heart belongs to the mannequin that he created. One night he stays late and visits the mannequin in the shop window when all of a sudden she comes to life. She says her name is Emmy. Now, Emmy is the spirit of an ancient Egyptian princess whose spirit has traveled to this mannequin in present day, well, present for 1987, to enjoy a new zest for life because she didn't want to be forced into an arranged marriage in her Egyptian home. And the two of them will come together and create wonderful window displays that start to really get Jonathan noticed at work, much to the delight of Miss Timken, but much to the chagrin of Mr. Richards, played by James Spader, who may have some side dealings outside the department store. And this attention that Jonathan is bringing, this can't be good. And what will follow is a comedy of proportions, we can't call them epic, of how Mr. Richards, along with his To him, dependable, but otherwise inefficient security guard Captain Felix, played by G.W. Bailey, to catch Jonathan and this mannequin, that person that is helping him with these window displays. But then, the challenges mount because nobody can see Emmy alive except Jonathan. And this causes a few comedic moments. All right, look, this was one of those films that was coming out in the late 1980s with the slapstick humor that a lot of the members of the Brat Pack were doing once they moved slightly beyond those John Hughes films, Pretty in Pink, Breakfast Club, etc. This film, unfortunately, it's a little fluffy and light with no real substance, and you try to take it for fun, but it's a little difficult to because the premise is so off base and the different plot lines that they're working. I mean, the fact that we get this like 3-minute backstory at the beginning of the film that Emmy is an Egyptian princess, and then we jump forward into present day. We don't revisit that at all. So where is that part of it? We have the two competing department stores, Prince and Company and Illustra, which I won't fully get into all of the things that happen there. But the short version is that Illustra is another department store that wants to buy out Prince and Company to be the sole department store. There's antics that go on back and forth, and Jonathan and this Emmy person are messing it up. So we go back and forth with this plot line, and then we have the relationship plot line with Jonathan and his ex that's sort of explored, but not really. It's just kind of a lot to cram into 90 minutes, along with some other characters and elements that might not age quite so well. But really, the only joys in the film, Kim Cattrall is the standout in one of her earlier works before we would come to know her on Sex and the City. And her energy with McCarthy is endearing enough, but not enough to carry this film. Normally, James Spader is a great breath of life, but in this, he's not given too much to do, and it's almost like he's trying to play a role in one type of film that Mannequin is not. So as a result, it falls a little flat. Now, look, it's possible I didn't see it in the 80s. I watched it now for the purposes of this series, and maybe it just didn't land. Maybe it would have years ago. But for today, I find it to be a misfire. But look, the song that it was nominated for is an incredible song. I do love that song. I've been singing it for years. The theme of the song, let them say we're crazy. What do they know? Put your arms around me, baby. Don't let go. We can build this world together. I mean, the lyrics, Diane Warren really captures the theme of the film and imbues it in the song. But I will say the music video for the song is much more enjoyable than the film it comes from. The song also, a side plug, has a great featured cameo in the film The Skeleton Twins with Bill Hader and Kristen Wiig, so I also recommend you check that one out. Okay, that was the side note. So, a rating. Mannequin, for me, 2 stars. That's about it. If you're a Kim Cattrall fan, check it out. It is fun to watch her in her earlier work. Otherwise, you may want to skip this one by. However, if you are curious to see it, as of this posting, it is streaming live on Max. So, there we go. See you in a few days. Remember, this series is bi-weekly, not every day. If you like what you heard here, please subscribe to the channel and spread the word. We finally hit 100 subscribers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see if we can get another 100 now. Let me know how you feel about this film or my commentary in the comments section. Hey, you never know, I might just call upon you to come review a film with me on a future video. You never know. Follow me, Cinephile Mike, on all social media platforms, then Letterboxd. Let's talk movies. Happy watching, everyone. But until next time, this is Cinephile Mike saying take a break. And